idea for the movie came from Andrew Niccol's brain, which can be an awesome place. Yeah, and basically when we turn 25, the aging gene stops. We figured out how to look 25 forever. But the risk of that, that's the good part. The bad part is what happens at that point is your body clock starts. It's sitting on your left forearm, and you have a year of time that you save up until the time you're 25. It starts on your 25th birthday. And so basically you start running out of time. Now you can make time, you can steal time, you can borrow time. It's all kind of transmitted through your pulse. And so I play Will, sort of an everyday man from the slums who wakes up with 23 hours on his clock every day. So he has less than a day to live. And so he's almost like a rat in a maze, constantly running the wheel, so to speak. Has to work. He works at a factory for time, and that's where the movie starts.
And basically, when you run out of time, you have a heart attack and you die immediately, which is really kind of an amazing concept because you just have these dead bodies on the street, and we could have gotten really morbid with it, but we didn't because that's not the point. But it's pretty cut and dry. Like you run out of time, that's it. There's nothing you can do.
If the doctors, if through science we ever figure out how to live forever, then I'm sure the government is going to find a way to steer away from overpopulation. And that's that was sort of the paradox that Andrew was the impetus for this movie, and and on top of that you have these two characters. You have mine, who comes from a very poor part of town, and Amanda's character Sylvia, who comes from a very rich part of town, and we end up together on the run through these crazy extenuating circumstances, and it's a thrill ride, the whole movie.
I think you're trying to
stay
alive.
I'm basically trying. I wake up at 23 hours on my clock every day. I come across a guy who looks the same age as me, but he's 105 years old. And I play a 28-year-old. And basically what happens is I become wrongly accused of a murder, and go on the run. And I make my way to the rich part of town, and through a crazy series of events, I end up kidnapping Amanda's character Sylvia and holding her hostage. And we go on the run.
Because you lose all your money, all your time.
All your time. Time is money.
He loses all his time at some point, like right in the beginning when he goes into the rich part of the world, where we are, and he then he gets caught, loses all his money, kidnaps me, and then we kind of are slowly becoming closer until we are naked together.
Oh, then there's that.
You can't do it without romance. I had a good time.
Yeah. I didn't mind it.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't terrible.
It wasn't great, but it wasn't... It's completely original. The script is completely original, obviously, coming from Andrew Niccol's brain. I think it's one of those concepts that really does work. Sometimes you read something and it's just so existential that you just can't wrap your mind around it. This you can. This makes actual sense when you're done with the script. You're like, my God, this really could. This seems possible, even though it's not. It actually makes you feel like anything is possible because he's written. There's so many different ideas and they all make sense. They all work. It's a big puzzle that just goes together in Andrew's brain, and he's expressing that on paper and a story and with really in-depth characters. And
he has Andrew, Gattaca. He wrote The Truman Show, directed Gattaca, Lord of War. He has the uncanny ability to take a thrilling concept and also show you, a little, there's a little irony to what he does with his films because he's the king of the social commentary thriller. To be able to thrill you with an intimate story like my story, Go on the Run, and it's an action movie the whole time, and you're constantly trying to keep up. But at the same time, I feel like you walk out of this movie going, huh, is that kind of a reflection? If time really is money in this world that we've created, that Andrew's created, is that sort of like a roundabout reflection in a way of perhaps our economy? You take this world that we live in, it immediately gets split up. With the situation we're in, it immediately gets split up into two classes: very rich and very poor. And so there's no middle class.
You don't really ever see middle class.
But that's what I love about Andrew's movie. I mean, that's what got me invested as well. Is it's so many things. I mean, my favorite action movies were always about ordinary guys, Die Hard and The Fugitive, and there are elements of there are themes in those movies that I really felt like I tried to carry with me on this film, and they're totally original characters. It's exciting to be at Comic-Con talking about original characters. I actually tore my calf on set.
That sucks.
That was very painful, so that sucked.
There were a lot of falls. We had a lot of spills. It was really exhausting.
We got tossed around in a car a little bit.
I banged my head and I thought I was gonna die, but I didn't.
No, this movie hurt to make. There was a lot of injuries. It was a lot like I'd go home, and when you're working, you're in it, and you're constantly blocking out all physical pain. I get home and I'd have these scratches and bruises and bloody knuckles, and I was like, how did I get that? I wasn't in a fight, So apparently Andrew Niccol's movies will physically harm you.
But it looks good.
But we saw it recently and it looks cool.
Yeah, and we have Roger
Deakins shooting us. Yeah.
Shot it, and he's an amazing DP. He really brings out all the elements of like Andrew's world, like physically. Just the aesthetics are just amazing. So in tune with the tone of it. It's great.
It's actually really. I haven't seen a film in this genre that I've felt like has been this intimate and performance driven, because I mean, honestly, we want people to love our characters too. We want them to follow our characters, and that's the biggest part of getting the audience in any genre. And I feel like that's what we were able to do in sort of working with Andrew on the characters was make them. Everything I just described is such a fantastical idea, but it doesn't work unless the actors and Killian and Olivia Wilde and Vincent Kartheiser, everyone who's in the movie, they brought such a real grounded approach to their characters, and so you feel like you're really there with them, and it's actually way more intimate than I even thought it was going to be.